Full transparency here. I am not a die-hard Pokemon fan anymore. I'm damn near 40 years old, and I was a die-hard fan from the late 90s through Gen 2 and through the Johto Journeys anime. Then, after that, I started to taper off a bit for many reasons, but I still love Pokemon and still have extreme favoritism towards the generations that I grew up with. A few years ago, I decided to catch up on Pokemon, the games, and continue playing through the generations that I never played when I was younger. And I made it up to Pokemon X and Y, if I'm not mistaken, before I stopped again. I have not played anything past that, but I have been following other people play it and the atmosphere, so I'm aware of where these games lie within the fandom. With that being said, I decided to hop back into the world of Pokemon yet again and buying my first Pokemon game in God knows how many years. Pokémon Legends ZA, or how some people are calling it, Pokémon Legends ZA. I'm not making this video because it's popular to bash on this game right now. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm making this video because I want to express my opinions and why I think this game is far below its monetary value, and it should be illegal to put a game out like this for what they're charging, especially. It's criminal behavior. One of the things that sold me on this game was the new battle system. Though I generally prefer turn-based RPGs, I did think the Pokemon formula needed a shake-up. So I thought this could be promising. So before I start shanking this game and the developers for the hot smoldering trash it is, let's start by talking about what is good about this game. The Pokemon models look wonderful. In fact, that's the only thing that looks good in this game. Fantastic design choices, art styles, they're all vibrant, they look clean and polished and they're aesthetic, a good use of polygons, no unnecessary edges, beautiful roundness, and they move well. The Pokemon themselves, they hit the mark. There are some good quality of life improvements that I've seen. Now, I don't know if this is something new to the Pokemon games, but it is new since the last game I played. So remember, I haven't played a lot of the games after X and Y. I do like that you can teach Pokemon new moves and go back and reteach them old moves at any given time. Abandoning a move does not mean it's gone forever. Now I can have a certain move set that helps me out for a particular instance, a particular battle, and then change my Pokemon attack strategy with a whole nother move set. I absolutely love that. That has been much needed in Pokemon games, especially if this is the first game that implemented that. Another thing I like about this process is it's quick and easy. There isn't a bunch of unnecessary text telling me what I'm about to do, then asking me if I'm sure I want to do it, then telling me that I did it for 30 seconds, and then having to go through this every time I want to do this action. I always hated that about Pokemon games. Also, organizing your Pokemon boxes is pretty easy. Being able to select more than one Pokemon at once and shifting them to another box is great. Like I said, this may not be a new feature in the series, but it's the first time I experienced it. The Pokemon research achievements are fine. It's basically mostly a bunch of passive awards that you get for catching Pokemon and other things that aid in the research that you would normally do, not going out your way to do it. There are plenty of clothing options for your character, but severely lacking in hairstyle options and other physical features. Another thing that's really good in this game is the music. Actually, the music is probably the best thing about this game. Whoever was involved with the soundtrack and the symphonies and the music, whoever's part of that team, they were cooking this game because the music is absolutely fire. Absolutely fire, especially that one tune that goes along with that one character. I don't know, there's like this guy that's this really swole guy, this buff guy that's like a dojo master. He has his own theme. I love that theme. I was bopping my head to that. And the other music's really good too, but that is the best thing about the game. The music, the soundtrack, cooked. Absolutely cooked. All right, and that is where the good things end for this game. Time to fuck some shit up. For the first time in a long time, Pokemon has done something to me that a game has not done. It wastes my goddamn fucking time. It has no respect and appreciation for my time. This game is constantly holding your hand the entire time, like you are going to walk me across the street at every juncture in the game. I actually feel like it insults my intelligence at times. At times, this game feels like a walking tutorial for hours upon hours upon hours. I have dumped damn near 20 hours into this game so far. And at about 10 hours in, I had just got introduced to the double jump feature in the game. I was like, wait, what? And I was wondering how the fuck do I get to some of these areas in the game, but did I think there was a double jump feature after putting that many hours into the game and not ever being introduced to that concept? Absolutely not. Why? What is the purpose of making you wait this long for that feature? All the areas I stumbled on and couldn't access. Why? It wasn't like there was any threat I wasn't prepared for that made sense as to wall that area off, block that area off. It was just basic item collecting. It's so illogical and unnecessary. This should have been something introduced earlier in the game with the core fundamentals of the game. Also, the story. This game has a completely uninteresting story that has no pulse and lies absolutely flat. Pokemon are mega evolving all on their own, and it's so detrimental to the city of Lumiose, as it is explained over and over and over and over again unnecessarily. But every time you pull up on one of these tyrant mega evolved wild Pokemon, they're literally just standing there, isolated from everyone, doing absolutely nothing, not bothering a soul. And this is supposed to be some type of problem in a city? A threat? And as you're browsing around this ridiculously small map, this ridiculously small city, browsing around would lead you to believe that there is no mega evolution pandemic going on. Everyone seems to be jovial and happy, going about their lives, and the few people dealing with minor inconveniences are only having these inconveniences for lackluster side content material. Side quest material, rather. The story is uninteresting and holds no weight. The characters are all forgettable. These kids that are part of your team, and this kid here, I don't even remember his name, thought it was a chick at first, but this character here, he's just goddamn annoying. Like, this character carries himself like he can't be bothered with anyone's BS. Like, everyone's existence is bothering him. Like, everyone is beneath him and a waste of his time. No, I can tell you what is a waste of my time is goddamn Pokemon game. I never want to see any of these characters again, period. Also, there are so many unnecessary cutscenes in this game. So many. And they are all unskippable at that. Like, why do I need 5 different cutscenes for something that can be done in 1 or even better, none? For example, there's basically a side quest that requires you to go back to the hotel where you're staying. It's basically your headquarters, the hotel, and then meet up with the group. And then after you meet up with the group, you go and have a battle outside with one of the group members to prove something, right? All that could have been done in 1 short cutscene and then start battling, right? No. You go meet the person in a different location, you go through this meaningless cutscene, and then they tell you, hey, go meet me back at the hotel. Okay, you can walk over to the hotel, run over to the hotel, but what you're probably going to do is fast travel to the hotel. And that puts you right in front of the hotel. And all you do is take 2 steps and you're in the door. So after you go through this cutscene, and then it cuts back to the game, go to the hotel, you immediately fast travel to the hotel, take 1 step in the door, another cutscene. Now they say, okay, let's battle. Then you're out of the cutscene. You take 3 more steps just to go outside to start the battle. And once you take those 3 steps and open a door, another cutscene starts. Then they let you out of the cutscene so that you could do something with your Pokemon, pick your Pokemon or something like that. I can't remember. Then once you got your Pokemon situated, you get put into another cutscene instead of just going right into the battle. It's insane. And then after you win the battle, guess what? More cutscenes. That doesn't drive the narrative anywhere. The whole game is like this. And you can't skip any of it. And you can't speed up the text fast enough. And you gotta have these stupid meetings every time you wanna, divvy up the responsibility and create a strategy as how you're gonna handle the mega evolved pandemic Pokemon, the new ones in the area. But you come to this meeting and discuss the same thing over again instead of just saying, hey, you got a notification, new Pokemon in the area, go handle it. It's jarring. It's a complete waste of time. It's so aggravating and disrupts the flow of the game. And so much of the dialogue is repetitive, and I cannot stand it. It does not add value or meaning to the game, other than wasting my time reading this unskippable bullshit. I can't tell you how many times the team, the kids, have had repeatedly lengthy conversations bringing up the same point that, hey, we don't know why these Pokemon are mega evolving, but it's up to us to figure it out. I cannot tell you how many times this has been said throughout the game, and they keep coming back to saying this. I'm like, yo, I get it. The purpose of me playing is to get to the bottom of this. But why must you stop me from getting to the bottom of this? Stop me from playing time after time to remind me that we don't know what's going on yet. I swear to God, I am not exaggerating here, folks. And just the quality of the cutscenes, like when they zoom out, it's done unnecessarily a lot of the times. And just poor transitions inside the cutscenes. I'm just like, who was part of the boarding? All right, let's talk about the environment and the atmosphere of the game. First of all, the map is insanely small. Insanely. And there's a reason why they don't give you a bike or a skateboard or anything for faster travel, because you will even more quickly realize how small this map is. And it blows my mind, considering how small it is, how much little effort they put into it and everything else, because it's not something with a large scale. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. On top of that, as you all know by now, all the buildings look damn near the same. There's at least 3 or 4 generic PNG JPEG pictures plastered on all of these buildings. Completely low resolution and flat. Copy and pasted, no exaggeration. Now, all these buildings look more or less uniform, which means that there aren't many unique areas in this city that you can easily identify, so it just feels like you're constantly lost. Like, I'll never learn this map, no matter how small it is, no matter how much I'm running around, because so many things look exactly the same. A copy and pasted JPEG image. It's insane. I mean, I don't want to get too much into how bad the game looks, because everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I've seen PlayStation 2 games that have better environments than Pokemon ZA. PlayStation 2 and GameCube games, absolutely. I mean, look at a picture of this car. Look at this. Look at this picture of this vehicle. It is 2025, folks. On top of that, this city is filled with people everywhere. Sadly, though filled with people, it feels completely empty and devoid of life. The people, the NPCs in the game, are like zombies. They're like mannequins. They have no life, no expression, nothing vibrant about them. No attitudes, no personality. Most of them don't even move. They just stand there. It's insane. When you go up and talk to them, most of them don't even give you any ounce of life. Despite the fact that they're talking to you, I still don't know if they're alive. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. It literally feels like you're walking in a city after the zombie apocalypse, minus all the destroyed buildings and that, atmospheric vibe you would get from a post-apocalyptic world. But based on the lack of life, you would think that, something happened here. But like I said, they're like zombies. They have no pulse, these people. And I got the complete opposite feeling playing Digimon Time Stranger, especially when you get to the digital world. It is beaming with life and activity. So much it might be a sensory overload, but it's beautiful. It felt immersive. Lumio City and Pokemon ZA? No, you do not feel immersed at all. This game has absolutely no heart. The characters have no heart. It's so lazy. The development of this game is so lazy. They bullshitted their way through this entire game, and they knew they could get away with it because it's Pokemon, the biggest IP in the history of our world. And people are gonna put the money out despite getting trash content like this. In the game, right? This is how bad it is. There's a side quest. By the way, all the side quests suck. They suck. There's a side quest, right? There's like these what's that garbage Pokemon called? Is it Trubbage? Trubbage? Trouble? I don't know. Anyway, you gotta take these garbage bags, right? Away from the restaurant, down an alleyway that takes like 3 minutes to walk down really slowly. Makes no sense at all. But anyway, and you gotta leave the Trubbage away and put the garbage in the trash can, and then they'll stay there. This game is so cheap that you don't even carry a trash bag. They want you to make believe you're carrying a trash bag. It's insane. When characters hand you things, there's nothing in their hand. Here, character, take this Pokeball. They just put their hand out. There's nothing in there. Hey, can you carry these papers for me? Oh, there's nothing in their hand. Hey, I can heal your Pokemon with what? Hey, character, can you carry these things over? You're carrying nothing. You couldn't even put a trash bag in my hand for a side quest? I'm supposed to believe the trash bags are in my hand? It's insane. And all the side quests are the same. They're the same. They're unnecessary. They're not fun. Go find this Pokemon, bring it back. Go do this, run this errand, bring it back. Go find this, bring it back. It's so stupid and a complete waste of time. Nothing fun about them. And with most of the buildings being JPEG images, yes, you cannot go inside the vast majority of the buildings. I would say you could probably only go inside maybe 5% of the buildings in the game. Yeah, it's that bad. And they got clothing stores everywhere. Like I said earlier, you get a lot of optimization, customization with your character's clothes. There's clothing stores everywhere. You can't go into a single one. You go up to the door, press A, and a menu pops up. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're trying to sell us on this big city that's popping with life, which it is not, and you can't even go inside buildings. How far are you taking Pokemon back? On the Game Boy Color, I was going in damn near every building, and the only ones I couldn't go into was because the door was locked for whatever reason, per the story. Come on, man. This city has no heart. These characters, these NPCs have no heart, no pulse. And one thing about this game is because it's a city, right? You can scale the buildings and, go up scaffoldings and, planks and all this stuff. Parkouring. Why is this even in the game? It's so poorly executed. It's janky as hell. It's not fun. And it's illogical. There's instances where you're trying to grab a Pokeball. It's sitting on the small box. Why can't I climb up this small box that's half my size? But strangely enough, when I'm on top of this building, I could climb up this higher ceiling part that's taller than the box with no problem. It's stuff like this. It makes no sense at all. Then when you're walking across a plank to get to another side of the building, there's no, let me balance myself as I walk across this plank, or maybe even using the gyro on the controller to give you a better feeling and experience with that. There's none of that. They walk across the plank like they would normally walk across the sidewalk or on the road. And it's janky. It's so dumb. It's so poorly executed. It's slapped together. It is a absolute mess. The parkouring in this game is garbage, and they shouldn't have even done it. If you can't do it right, don't do it at all. It's boring as hell. The characters move like robots. I can't believe what I was watching in the beginning of the game. I'm not even lying. The girl's like, hey, follow me through these hallways. Follow this character, right? Instead of just doing a smooth turn around the curve, around the corner at the intersection, she gets to the middle of the intersection, completely stops, erect, her whole body pivots 90 degrees, and then she continues running again. I said, oh my God, this is so bad. This is how these characters move, these NPCs. I'm not joking. This is not an exaggeration, like you're walking on a grid, from a game made in the 1980s. This is not an exaggeration. This happens in the game. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. The Pokemon zones are hot garbage. They're trying to give you this feeling of adventure and catching Pokemon in the wild, these wild zones or whatever they're called. They're garbage. Most of them are super small, and you're not out, looking for Pokemon, searching for Pokemon. You walk in the zone and they're just all there waiting for you. And if you got a strong enough ball, depending on the Pokemon level, you can just throw balls without even fighting Pokemon and you'll catch most of them. Most of them. I'm not joking. You're just going in there. Balls are flying everywhere. Great balls, Pokeballs, lure balls, timer balls. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And then there's a bunch of late load in characters, Pokemon clipping in, characters, Pokemon clipping out. Like sometimes I see a character, an NPC or a Pokemon in the distance, and then when I run up there, they were never there, they disappear, and something different loads in. I'm like, what is going on? And it wasn't a glitch because I ran back to see if what I originally saw would load in again, and it loaded in again, and then I went back closer, and then they disappeared, and the other things loaded in again. I said, oh my God, this is so bad. Another thing I hate is how cutscenes and other things completely affect your actions going on your sequence. Let me give you an example. Okay? Give you an example. There's a day and night cycle in the game that you cannot control, right? Just keep that in mind. Now you got these Pokemon called Alpha Rogue Pokemon or Alpha Pokemon. If you find one, they have these red glowing eyes and they're really big, way bigger than they normally are. And they're much more difficult to fight than other Pokemon. They're made really strong. However, when you catch them, they're not that strong anymore. They get the regular stats that Pokemon normally would. They just are still very large and they get the red eyes removed from them. And the only quirk is that they come with a move that Pokemon doesn't learn normally. But their stats are reduced to something lesser than when you initially meet them, right? But anyway, some of these battles can take a very long time, especially if you don't have really, over-leveled up Pokemon, for lack of a better word. But these battles can be time-consuming to get their health down to be able to catch them. Well, if there's a transition between day and night and you go through that cutscene, because there is a cutscene every time you transition from day to night, I absolutely hate that. They want to show you which battle zone is active. I don't need a cutscene to see that. You could just give me a notification and I could check the map to see which battle zone is open. And then when it goes back to night, it tells you what your stats are. Even if you don't go into a battle zone, it feels the need to tell you that you have done nothing. And it'll interrupt your gameplay to tell you that every single time. And any progress you have, say you're fighting one of these rogue alpha Pokemon and you've been fighting this mofo for 10 minutes, 15 minutes trying to catch them. If you get caught in that cutscene, it resets all of that. Now that Pokemon gets reset to a full health bar and you got to do it over again. I am not kidding you. I was fighting one of these alpha Pokemon in their area for 15, 20 minutes trying to catch this fool, get his health low, throwing great balls out the wazoo. He's busting out all of them. But anyway, in this area, there was also a side quest that took place in this area. And there were these items, 5 items you got to find and bring it back to somebody. And they were around this Pokemon. Okay, whatever. I'm fighting this Pokemon. I accidentally grabbed one of these items. Okay, no big deal. But when you grab this item, it cuts to a cutscene. Okay, whatever. I'll get back to battling after this 5 to 10 second cutscene. No! Every time you pick up one of these 5 items, it resets this Pokemon's health bar and the battle sequence. Now he has full health again and you gotta start over. I am not making this up, folks. Not making this up. Anything that interrupts your battling, your gameplay with a cutscene will reset everything. And God forbid if you walk a little bit too far from the Pokemon, it'll reset their health bar as well. It's crazy. I can understand if you completely leave the battle area, that's understandable. But I didn't even get that far away from the Pokemon, and they reset everything. Everything. It's crazy. I thought I came out here with the organized thought process, but as my emotions started to get the best of me, I noticed I've been ranting and a bit scatterbrained and all over the place because something else pops up. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's talk about this. For example, back to NPCs. I said the Pokemon models look good, not the NPCs. These characters have no texture. Their clothes have no texture at all. At all. And their faces, 95% of the time, there is no expressiveness whatsoever. Your own character barely changes his face throughout the game, and when he does, it's minimal. Your own character has no life. Nothing in his face. No facial expressions. There's scenes where characters are like yelling or like surprised. It's like, oh my god, and like 95% of the time, they'll just have a straight resting bitch face. And I'm like, this is so bad. So bad. I'm not buying any of this. I would say this game could really, 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 really benefit from voice acting. But giving these characters facial expressions, it wouldn't even synchronize right. By the way, these Pokemon games really need voice acting, man. Really. Or at least the option to have voice acting. Seriously. A lot of these games would benefit from it. Especially with this game feeling so lifeless. Another thing this game needs, as do other Pokemon games, as a whole, the Pokemon games need difficulty settings. They seriously do. This is getting crazy. I can still have one Pokemon and overlevel him and bulldoze my way and tank everybody throughout the entire game. I can still do that. Even how I'm playing more balanced with teams and stuff like that. It's still ridiculously easy. The only challenge in this game are those alpha rogue Pokemon from time to time, just because they're super overpowered and can be particularly difficult to catch. So you have to keep dealing with them, even though you might have drained their health down, but you got to keep putting your Pokemon at risk because you got to keep throwing balls at it. So that is the only thing that's slightly difficult in this game. But battling these trainers, and the emphasis on this game is definitely battling before Pokemon catching, primarily. But there's no challenge. You're overpowering all the trainers you fight. And you're carrying 6 Pokemon the whole time, and most of the trainers you fight only have 2 or 3 Pokemon. Well, of course you're gonna win. Even if it was a 6-on-6, you're guaranteed to win. But a 6-on-2, a 6-on-3, of course you are going to win. And this has been a problem with Pokemon games ever since its existence. Why am I the only guy that seems to carry around the maximum amount of Pokemon? Where's the challenge? These games need a difficulty setting. And with the new battle system and the cooldowns replacing PP, I do like it. But because the game is so easy, it really doesn't force me to use a lot of buffing and debuffing moves, because I can literally just create a scheme where I pick my first powerful move, but it has the longest cooldown, and then go to my next one, it has a slightly less cooldown, and I just do the rotation until I come back around to the initial move, and its cooldown has now depleted, and it's ready to use again. And I could just do that cycle and wipe everybody out. And I don't have to worry about weakness and resistance as much, because I'm at a much level higher Pokemon than most of the trainers I fight by the time I get around to them. It takes away from the strategy of the game. It does. You can get through this game button smashing. I'm not joking. You can get through this game button smashing with little to no thought about which moves you want to use. You can really do that. I'm not joking. I do think the action battle system, moving away from turn-based, is a step in the right direction, and it can be fun at times. Definitely janky and glitchy a lot of the time as well. Pokemon disappearing, Pokemon falling off buildings, Pokemon falling off a building, and then you thinking, well, he can't attack me, and he's still using his attack and somehow hitting you from, from the top of a building, even though he's like at the bottom of a 8-story building, but his attacks are still hitting you. Craziness, but okay. Stuff like that. It's a step in the right direction, something new, something refreshing, but it was poorly executed and lazily put together. Like, for example, one thing I absolutely hate, if you switch your Pokemon out mid-battle, I recall my Pokemon, I send my new Pokemon out. On top of doing his battle cry, which I expect, the Pokemon does their cry, your Pokemon starts flexing and doing like his battle movement. And during that time, where he's showboating, the other Pokemon is just attacking you. So you just gotta sit there for 2 to 3 seconds until your Pokemon's done with his introduction, getting hit before you can execute a command. And by the way, there are definitely times where I'm hitting the button to execute the command with no cooldown happening and they're not doing it. And I am locked on the Pokemon as well, because you can only issue the attack if you're locked on to the opposing Pokemon. Another thing I didn't like is that after I throw my Pokeball to release my Pokemon, the Pokeball disappears. Why not have the Pokeball return to the player's hand like in the anime? The magnetized Pokeballs. What's up with that? Why does evolution look so basic? Why can't we actually see the Pokemon turn white and actually morph and evolve? Why is evolution so goddamn basic in 2025? And they have this new feature where if you knock out a Pokemon, they tell you you have a brief chance to still throw a Pokeball at them and catch them before they disappear. Which I thought, you know what? That's cool. I'm okay with that. I thought it was going to be like a second and a half or maybe 2 seconds at the most where you really got to be fast and take advantage of it. But no, the Pokemon sits there for at least, 6 to 8 seconds. And I'm like, well, that just takes the fun out of it. Now there's really no consequences. I can just go to knock him out every time and be ready to throw the goddamn Pokeball. 2 seconds would have been perfect. It gives you a little bit of cushion, but it doesn't completely absolve you from your mistake of knocking them out. You have to be quick. Another thing I don't like is that if you're trying to battle a Pokemon that's in the water, some Pokemon will get in the water and swim. Some water types and some other types that can swim will go in there and fight them in the water, which is cool. But you got other Pokemon that can't swim. Let's take, for example, maybe a fire type that's weak against water. So this little like Nimbus cloud, this Pokeball Nimbus cloud pops up and they just glide across the water and fight the Pokemon. That is so stupid. So stupid. What they should have did is made it more realistic where if the Pokemon can't be in water, then hey, that Pokemon can't be in water. Go catch something or go find something that can battle in the water. Or if you do send said Pokemon into the water that might be weak against water, well, he starts taking damage every 1 or 2 seconds while he's trying to battle them. They missed the mark on this game. As somebody that has played Digimon Time Stranger, or rather still playing Digimon Time Stranger, I can honestly say that Digimon Time Stranger is clearly the better game. I could go on for probably 2 hours about my problems with Pokemon ZA, but this video has gone on way too long already. Way too long. Trust me, there is a lot more stuff I want to talk about. A lot more problems this game has. Nintendo and Game Freak shit the goddamn bed. And they have been. But this is the worst I have seen. And the worst I have played by far. This game could have been an absolute gem if they put the work in to make it that. Optimize the system. There's no reason the Switch 1 and Switch 2 version look damn near the same. Damn near identical. Run damn near identical. Come on, man. What are we doing? You can use every excuse in the book to try to justify how bad this game is, why it looks as bad as it does, but there is no justification for this. This feels like a game that was put out like in beta, like early in beta, wanting people to test it out. Hey, I got this new game. We're still 2 years away from its release date. Still a lot of development that has to go along, but give it a try. This game has promise, but remember, it's very early stage. That's what this game feels like. Absolutely. This does not feel like a finished product. This was lazily slapped together. No effort at all. Nintendo, Game Freak, we need a new Pokemon game in 3 weeks. Don't worry, we got you, Nintendo. We got you. Kick that out the door. Pokemon ZA. We're talking about a company that has a ridiculous amount of money. I heard this game needed I heard the development, the cost of making this game was less than $20 million. Well less than $20 million. They made well over that in pre-orders alone, I am sure. All the money, all the oodles and mountains of money the Pokemon Company has made, that Game Freak has made, Nintendo has made from their franchise. And they keep putting out garbage like this for $70? Are you nuts? What is it, 70, 80, something like that? Are you nuts? Get the hell out of here. This is a $30 game. I could justify this game being what it is for $30. Not a penny more. Not a penny more. There's no experience. There's nothing aesthetically that makes this game worth over $30. Hell no. Y'all thought Mario Kart was bad for its price point. Pokemon is way worse for that same price point. Way worse. This is criminal activity to put this game out, especially at that price. Criminal. What is it with Game Freak? Is it fatigue? Are you tired of making Pokemon games? If that's the case, because Game Freak has put out other games that look absolutely incredible with much more depth to it. So if that's the case, Nintendo, please move Pokemon over to a different developer to create something immersive, refreshing, new. Somebody that actually gives a damn about this IP and these characters. Nintendo, you should give a damn about these IP and these characters. You should want to put out the best product possible. But why do that? Because people are going to spend their money anyway. They know they can do it and they will continue to get away with it unless we talk with our wallets. And what I mean by that is not putting out the money for the garbage. It's sad. It's sad. Like I said, this is the first Pokemon game I have bought, and God knows how long. Because I thought it might be something promising. So I know, okay, I'll give it a try. But Lord Jesus, what the fuck we got with Pokemon ZA is a tragedy. An absolute tragedy. I have standards, man. And this is well below the bar. Well. I'm going to finish the game. Anyway, sound off in the comment section, man. Am I out of line? Am I out of pocket for feeling this way? How do you feel about this? Did you buy the game? Let me know what you think about it. Have you shared any experiences I have? Do you know what I'm talking about? Am I going crazy? Am I going crazy? No. All the vitriol, and I know YouTube is a place where negative content pushes the algorithm, gets the views, puts butts in the seat. I get all that. But this game, all the negativity going around social media and YouTube, it is justified and it's worth it. To the fact where I felt like I had to put out a video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.